On August 28, 2003, a mysterious phone call is made to Mamma Mia's Pizza, and though no one knows it, this phone call will literally end the life of an unsuspecting, middle-aged delivery man. But how it happened would be even more mysterious and disturbing to everyone involved. In the quiet town of Erie, Pennsylvania, a sinister plot was unfolding, a plot that would forever change the lives of its residents and captivate the nation. Brian Wells was a 46-year-old delivery driver at Mamma Mia's Pizza. Known for his gentle nature and childlike innocence, he was a familiar face in the neighborhood. Brian's neighbors described him as a helpful person, very unassuming, so much so that he took the hubcaps off of his car because they were too shiny, and he was only ever late for work once because one of his cats died. That afternoon, Brian was unsuspectingly lured into a deceitful trap when his boss, who could not make out the directions, handed him the phone. The person on the other end of the line ironically ordered 2 pizzas to a remote location near a television tower. The address? 8631 Peach Street. But what Brian did not know was that this was no ordinary delivery, and that it would be his last. And after not hearing from Brian, his boss would find out why when he turned on the TV about 2 hours later. To his utter shock, Brian's face was plastered all over the TV. No, Brian was not involved in an accident or a medical emergency. Brian had robbed a bank. Wait, sweet, unsuspecting Brian? Never. When Brian pulled up to make the delivery, he was ambushed by strangers. But oddly enough, they weren't interested in the money he had on him, and they definitely did not want the pizza. Instead, they forced him to wear a collar bomb, a device that would soon become his deadly companion. With the bomb strapped around his neck, Brian was handed a shotgun and a set of instructions. The notes, addressed to the bomb hostage, outlined a scavenger hunt leading to keys that would disarm the explosive. But the first task was to rob a bank. Inside the PNC Bank on Peach Street, Brian handed a teller a note demanding $250,000, claiming he had a bomb. The teller, unable to access the vault quickly, gave him $8,702. Brian left the bank, swinging the bag of money and his cane gun while sucking on a dum-dum lollipop he had gotten from the teller, appearing oddly calm. Was it all a ploy? Did Brian know what he was doing? Was he in on it? Minutes later, police surrounded him. His calm demeanor turned to panic. Brian pleaded for help, stating that the bomb would soon go off. But tragically, just before the bomb squad arrived around 3:18 p.m., the device detonated, killing Brian instantly. His lifeless body fell back and hit the ground. The medics were in shock, the police were baffled, and the surrounding crowd were distraught. In the 2 weeks following this tragedy, the town of Erie, Pennsylvania was in a daze. But what was the true story? Who were these people and why did they target Brian? So who are the players? The investigation revealed a complex plot masterminded by a woman with a history of mental illness and criminal behavior. And the weird location near the television tower? The hitman, Kenneth Barnes, a retired television repairman and crack dealer. Wait, hitman? Yeah, you'll see in a minute. William Rothstein, a handyman and a part-time shop teacher, constructed the collar bomb. So, was Brian in any way involved? Why was he so calm? Did the person on the line intentionally muffle their voice in order to create an alibi for Brian? Was Brian a sacrificial lamb? Brian's involvement in the plot remains controversial. Some believe he was an unwilling participant, forced into the robbery under the threat of death. Other theories suggest that he was a willing accomplice, misled into thinking the bomb was fake. But a chilling detail was revealed when he was questioned by the police. Brian told the police that he was ambushed by a group of black men who ordered him to rob the bank. So why didn't Brian just tell the police what really happened, instead of making up this bogus story? Was he covering up for his captors? Were they all friends? Well, in another twist, the police found instructions addressed to the bomb hostage. These letters had the instructions for what the hostage should do when robbing the bank, how much money to ask for, and also how he should remove the caller. So Brian really wasn't involved. He was actually fighting for his life. But sometimes appearances can be deceiving. So let's go back over some details. The call is placed to the pizzeria at the end of Brian's shift, but Brian is such a good guy he agrees to take it anyway. As mentioned before, the delivery was made near a television tower, but as the police investigated, it was found to be a remote location down a long dirt road with no homes on it. 20 minutes later, Brian walks into the PNC bank asking for cash with the collar bomb strapped to his neck. He pulls out a note with the instructions for the bank teller. A deeper dive into the letters reveals the wild goose chase and scavenger hunt he had to participate in to gain his freedom. So we'll never really know what the true motives behind this story is. Personally, if it is at all true that he was made to do it against his will, I could see why they would be leading him all over town. It would be to serve as a distraction to collect the money that Brian would drop off at a predetermined location as he moved sporadically through the town. Authorities would be so preoccupied that they wouldn't realize that the money was no longer on him. The case, known as the pizza bomber or collar bomb heist, captivated the nation. It was even featured in the Netflix series Evil Genius, which delved into the bizarre and tragic events. This story continues to intrigue, with new revelations shedding light on the complex web of deceit and manipulation that led to Brian Wells's untimely death. But what was the motive for the entire setup? The mastermind, Marjorie Deal Armstrong, wanted to kill her father and receive her inheritance after the two had become estranged. Her father was a millionaire, but he had only left her $2,000 in his will. Ouch! And the cost of the hit? $250,000. She had orchestrated this entire scheme to obtain the money to complete the job. The Brian Wells story serves as a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life and the lengths to which some will go to fulfill their twisted desires. It is a chilling reminder of how appearances can be deceiving. A simple pizza delivery turned into a deadly game orchestrated by individuals with dark motives. The pizza bomber case remains one of the most bizarre and tragic events in recent history.